Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good day and welcome to the show. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd of July, 2020. Glad to have all you guys here. Now listen, a grease fire. You know, if you take a frying pan, put it on the stove, most people are going to cook something, maybe some potato chips or something. Not potato chips, but, French fries or something, and they put some hot oil in the frying pan. They put it on the burner. But once in a while, somebody will do that, and they'll walk in the other room, and they'll forget about it. But they got it on there. Big mistake. Many a house has been burned down that way. But they don't see what actually happens. They just see the result, which is a big fire. What actually happens is the grease starts to warm up in the frying pan. And it starts to bubble after a little while. As it gets hotter and hotter, the grease is simmering. And then later, it actually starts to smoke. But doesn't burn yet, doesn't light on fire yet. It starts to smoke. And then it starts to smoke a bit heavier. When it gets to that point where it starts to smoke really heavy, then any little spark, poof, it's on fire. This is the same way with what's going on inside America right now. You've got, let's just say, over 20 million people. It's probably more like 50 million people who have been keeping going on that original stimulus package of, what was it, $2.2 trillion? And they've just been barely keeping going, also with momentum. Part of it is their unemployment insurance and everything else. They've been keeping going on momentum. They're like the grease in the frying pan, And so far, they haven't even quite reached the stage where the grease is smoking yet. But that can happen really fast once we get to a point where they run out of options. The mortgage company is going to kick their lease agreement out, and they're going to be kicked out on the street. They might be receiving eviction notices. There's one option gone. They haven't got money for food anymore. There's another option gone, and so on and so forth. Now, they're planning on giving a $1 trillion package. Well, that $2.2 trillion only got us from March till now. What will $1 trillion do? A month? I just see it as being kind of stingy. They're certainly not going to put through a $3 trillion spending package. But that would sound more like in line with what we would need. If we had $2.2 trillion in March, if we had $3 trillion injected in now, it would probably tide us over for a while, maybe until the virus is over. But what will happen if they don't get enough money and these people start to be evicted and start to run? These people are not used to this kind of a lifestyle at all. They're used to being in their apartment and paying for things and having their job and leading a normal life. And then all of a sudden they're and a lot of these people, they live in the urban areas because this is where the majority of the United States population lives, in and around the major cities, as much as 80% of the population. Look at it like the grease or the oil on a hot skillet. Okay? It's 100% certainty that if you put hot oil into a skillet and leave it on a burning fire and you go into the other room, at some point it's going to ignite. It's 100% probability. And I mean, you could come in 5 minutes later and it might just be smoking. It might not have lit yet. You can do something about it, and that's the stage we're at right now. But there's 100% probability if this keeps going in the direction it's going in, there's going to be some sort of a ramification, maybe in the form of civil unrest. It might come in the form of a popular uprising. Just not exactly sure how it'll manifest itself, but that's like when it catches fire. And if you're in the city areas when this happens, this, when it comes, it could be magnitudes larger than what happened a few months ago with the civil unrest that occurred in the major U.S. cities. You want to have bug-out plans in place if you live in the city areas at this point, because this is where this is headed. And I'm going to tell you what, bugging out with a backpack's not the way to go because you're exposed to the elements. If you've got a car, you've got a much better option. Because you can, as bad as it is to actually try to live out of a car, it's one heck of a lot better. It's 1,000 times better than trying to sleep on the sidewalk, where you're exposed to the elements, bugs, mosquitoes, everything. You know, sleeping out of a car is 1,000 times better because you got a little roof over you, and at least you're out of the elements, you know, and you're mobile. And you can carry a food supply in there, and you can carry a bit of money inside your car with you, hidden someplace under the seats or something, you know. So it's 1,000 times better. And you can actually have a bed inside a car. It might not be as comfortable as inside your house, but you can do things like, if the car's got a trunk, you know, you can take that rear part of the seat out and lay a bed in there that crosses through the seats from the rear seat into the trunk area, and your feet would be in the trunk and your head would be laying down so you can stretch out, you know. You can do things like that. If it's your car, you know, and I mean, with the situation we got coming, the way things are going to deteriorate, I mean, it might descend down to a point where possession becomes 9 points of the law. I don't know if you've heard that saying or not, but this is the way it's really been all the way through human history. If you don't hold it in your hand, you don't own it. And basically the thing with your car is if you actually have it in your possession, it might come down to that, where the financial system becomes in such disarray that they don't even know who owns what, or finance companies go under so quick. I mean, the whole thing could deteriorate into a situation that's kind of unimaginable to us at this point in time. But you have to, if you're in an urban center, you have to start thinking about strategic relocation now at this point. And you have to think about bug out plans, I would say, at this point. And that's the warning I'm giving you guys, is the situation right now, the way I see it, is like the frying pan with the hot grease in it. And the grease is heating up right now. And that's the fact that they're not supporting, through these package deals that they're doing from the government. I don't think it's adequate support for the millions of people who've lost their jobs, simply put. Anyway, now we're going to talk about silver. Let's get the chart started right here and take a look at the silver price today. It's shooting up right now as we speak. What I noticed is it wasn't a sudden thing where we went up in price and then we fell right back down again. You know, we're up in price and we're kind of holding it. You know, we're holding these up prices. We're up 7% today alone. It's up $1.49 on the day, $22.81 right now, heading for $23. Not far away from it. Actually touched $23. You know, if you guys are long-time holders of gold and silver, you've been listening to my show a long time. I've been promising you that this is coming. But I'm going to tell you what I've been promising is coming is not here yet. And you guys saying, oh, wow, it's doing like Glenn said it was going to do years ago. It's not quite here yet. We could still have a deflationary event in the markets and stuff where they actually sell off GLD and SLV, and they actually bring the spot price down some. You know, but if that actually happens, I think what you're going to see is an extreme premium could occur on the real physical metal, and it's best off for people who are HODL and physical metal to hold right through that if it happens. You know, because on the other side of this, then we're going to get the real thing. Right now, I'm a bit tentative on this yet. I haven't quite made up my mind if this is the real rush, the real big bull rally yet. Because of the economy and the deflationary spiral that's ongoing within the real economy. Once they actually capitulate and they actually start to feed enough money into the real economy, where the real economy starts to boost again, and we get what's called a recovery, an economic recovery, that's when we're going to see gold and silver really skyrocket. I mean, there's going to be no holding it down, no holes barred at that point in time. And that's when we're going to see the dollar, the runaway inflation come. that I'm expecting. I'm expecting runaway inflation. I'm expecting they will capitulate. If the hot oil bursts into flames, you know what the Fed's like? They're like an old lady that's sitting in her rocking chair right now. She can smell the smoke of the hot oil heating up, but she's not doing nothing. She's not going to do nothing until it bursts into flames. And then she's going to come over and pour baking soda on it or whatever and put it out. And that baking soda's the money. And that's what the Fed's going to do. They're going to do it when they're forced to do it, when the situation comes that they have to respond to. The Fed is not, they're not proactive. They're reactive. They react, and they will react at a certain point in time to this situation. And what they're going to do is they're going to overreact. They're going to pour too much money on it. The economy's going to start to heat up, and then we're going to get our speed up in the velocity of money. And that's when we're really going to see gold and silver shine. I mean, you guys think that this is something? You haven't seen nothing yet. I mean, a price of $22 on silver, that's nothing. Years ago, when the dollar bought a lot more, the dollar was probably half again stronger than it is now. The silver was $50. So $22, is that high? When the dollar's only worth half as much as it used to be back when it was $50? That would be like a $100 silver price now. So no, it's not high. It's still cheap. We haven't seen nothing yet. We've seen little pop in silver, but you haven't seen nothing yet. This is nothing compared to what's coming down the pike. Okay, let's take a look at cryptocurrency market capitalizations today. $277 billion with a Bitcoin dominance of 62.1%. 62.1%. So the Bitcoin dominance has fell back a little bit. It was 62.2%, and we're looking at the price $277.5 billion with a Bitcoin price of $93.42. So Bitcoin's looking pretty good right now. Bitcoin, as time is progressing, it's becoming a more and more solid investment. As far as I see, it's actually, in my mind, I'm thinking of Bitcoin as a safe haven asset. Now, that's just in my mind, but that's the way I'm thinking about it. Like gold. It's like digital gold and Bitcoin, you know, and they're going to, I think at a certain point in time, Bitcoin and gold are going to start moving together in the markets, just like gold and silver move together. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones today. And what we're looking at is it's up 90 points on the day, 26,930. Now, crude oil today is down 43 cents, or 1.3%. It's 41.49. Bonds and rates. Here's a manipulated chart, manipulation if I've ever seen it. Every day lately, the middle of the range has been unchanged, and it's been moving. Look at the way it's moving. We got 3 basis points anyway. Movement on the U.S. 30 years dropped to 1.28. And the U.S. 10 years at 0.587. It's dropped 2 basis points. Heading down towards zero, boys. Heading down towards zero. Could negative interest rates actually become to the United States of America? I'm going to tell you what. We're just barely above negative. Okay? Hanging in there, just barely above negative. We go down below negative, it's all over. If the United States goes below negative, it's all over. For money flows and everything, it's all over. The system will start to crack up and start to break apart. It's already starting to break apart, but that would really finish the job. Okay, let's take a look at U.S. dollar index, 94.93. And the dollar's going along sideways now after a little drop earlier today. 94.94. Okay, listen, guys. Thank you for listening to my show. Bring your friends, because I need more viewers. I really appreciate my audience out there. And give me a thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.